Today is another very special episode where I'd like to remind all of the Cardano holders and those who are wondering if they should become a part of this ecosystem, why Cardano?
When people ask you, like, why Cardano? That's why you say it's like, because we're serious. That's why. We want to fucking change the world.
That's right. Cardano is going to change the world. That's what I truly believe. I decided to wear my royal blue today, which signifies boldness, bravery, innovation, risk-taking. That's right, because fortune truly does favor the brave. It also embodies trust and transparency and all of the things that Cardano does embody as an ecosystem. So I wanted to wear this royal blue as a special tribute to all of the amazing things that are happening in the Cardano ecosystem, namely the Cardano Constitution, which was just conceived very, very short time period ago. And Charles Hoskinson gave a very emotional speech that brought him to tears as he reflected on the last decade. In this episode, we're going to go over the impact of that news, exactly what has been built on Cardano over this past decade, where we could be in the coming decades, and why I believed when I first invested in Cardano that my investing thesis would be that it would stand the test of time and it would be around for the next 10 years. And why I believe Cardano will be one of those horses to win this long-term race. We're also going to get into price predictions, what I believe Cardano could do this cycle, but namely what Cardano could do over the coming decades. As you saw in the title, one of the charts in our log scale shows that Cardano could hit $75 over time. Is this possible? We'll go over all that and more in this episode. But first, we're going to hear from Charles Hoskinson, who says that in a few decades, Cardano could potentially flip Bitcoin and the world could be running on Cardano. So without further ado, I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, and let's get right into it. Let's just get into this first impactful speech by Charles Hoskinson, who believes that the world will be running on Cardano. You guys have to hear this. This is a leader who speaks with conviction, who doesn't waver, who comes at this with confidence and with fire. And we need somebody like this to build the next Amazon of the blockchain. We need these kind of visionaries who have this grandiose vision to carry out this monumental task, right? And he's done something truly special. Before we get into the Cardano Constitution, let's hear from him in this powerful speech.
In 7 years' time since Cardano launched, we went from nothing to an 11-figure network with millions of people and the largest research group in the world and the passion of the young people. And in another decade's time, we'll be larger than Ethereum. And in another decade's time, we'll be larger than Bitcoin. And in another decade's time, the majority of governments in the world will run on our infrastructure because they trust it. That is what thinking in decades gives you.
I love what he says here. The government will be running on Cardano. Why? Because they trust it. That is what he's been striving for. That's what this ecosystem has been striving for. Slow and steady wins the race, not first to the market and fast to break things. No, this is a protocol built to stand the test of time. People will trust it. And this is exactly the mentality we need to build these core atomic building blocks of the future of the internet. And I believe that Cardano will be a staple in that entire ecosystem. And here he says, if the team does its job right, the world will run on Cardano. Do you think they'll get the job done? I think at the rate they are going now, they can absolutely get the job done. And a lot of times in the process, you get laughed at, you get ridiculed. It's not been an easy go for Cardano holders, and nor for Charles Hoskinson, who's had a lot of public scrutiny and has even gotten into a lot of public heated debates, all right? But now we're at a crossroad in the industry. We're even, as an ecosystem, as Cardano, participating with Bitcoin, joining Bitcoin to bring DeFi on Bitcoin. And Charles Hoskinson has hinted at other networks potentially collaborating like Solana, like XRP. This is just the beginning. We are so early to this. I'm so convinced of that. And although I will be selling and taking profits this bull run, I do have a portion of my portfolio that I want to hold for a long period of time. I do truly believe this has the potential to be one of those that could last for decades, as Charles Hoskinson says. And so I'm happy to be a part of this ecosystem. Let me know in the comments if you're an OG Cardano holder, if you're thinking about getting in, and what you think about this. But I am so excited for the beginning of the end, as Charles puts it. We'll hear from him later on in this episode. So this is something I want to bring to your attention. For all of you who are struggling with mindset or who have been holding Cardano for a long time and have seen it not do so much, consider yourself blessed and lucky that you got into this that early, that the price doesn't reflect the potential of the impact on the world. Now, I want to draw your attention to Jeff Bezos, who was also in a similar position on the Jay Leno show not too long ago, talking about how, look at this. Here's the thing. I don't understand. Each year, Amazon loses more money than it lost the year before. Amazon has never made a profit. Jeff Bezos certainly, confidently, and with fire says, that's right. We are famously an unprofitable company.
Here's the thing I don't understand. The company is worth billions.
Yes.
And every time I pick up the paper, each year it loses more money than it lost the year before. The company's never made a profit.
That's right.
Now, why? How does that? Why?
It seems like a new math, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to someone who doesn't know anything about this. It's amazing. You know, we lost 12 billion last year, and we're doing great.
Well, there are a whole series of Doonesbury cartoons about this. This is not a new phenomenon. We are a famously unprofitable company,
Right.
And we are investing in the future. It's not, which isn't unusual. Companies have done this before. What's a little surprising about Amazon.com is the scale which we're doing it. We're doing it in a big way.
I see. So you just keep reinvesting.
We're reinvesting.
Now,
Hell yeah, guys. This is it. This is it. I don't know. The noise does not matter to me. I have so much conviction in this. And I think this is how you become unshakable as an investor. You have this conviction because you see where things are going. Sometimes you really just got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. And that is my goal today for you as Cardano holders, to be able to see that. And this is one of my highest conviction plays among the top 3. And I believe it's going to do so well over time, but not only price-wise, guys, impact-wise. It is going to change the fucking world. So now let's go over some price predictions. I know everybody loves price predictions. As you guys know, I invested in this just under 5 cents right before the halving of the last cycle and watched it run all the way up to $3 for almost a 65x. Those are exponential gains that nobody saw coming. The human mind just can't comprehend this kind of growth. It's very, very hard. So in our last episode with Trip, the lead admin of the Capital Mindset Trading Group, if you're not in this group already, I highly suggest you check it out. Link is in the description below. We teach you how to buy the bottoms of patterns, get in after the breakout, buy on support, and give you information to help you be successful in your investing journey. So it's helped me so much. I'm very happy to be now part owner in this group, and I am dedicated to bringing as much value as possible. Okay, so this is a chart from that group. We did a video last week, me and the lead admin Trip, and we were saying that it was breaking above this by the breakout level. And the measured move is all the way up to Cardano's last all-time high. And I believe it'll go well beyond that in this bull run. Charles Hoskinson is set to be a potential crypto advisory council for the United States. He's building something robust that he wants to stand the test of time and potentially replace the American voting system and have the government run on it. Guys, just the beginning. But this bull run, I truly believe we could see $6 and even up to $10. I know that's a big range, but things get very heated and it's hard to tell. So remember, this is not all calculated based on market cap. A lot of you said that in my last YouTube, and I also said it, and it's so true. So it's about supply and demand, and it's about adoption and many other things. So yes, Cardano has a really bright future, this bull run for sure, but I do want to show you now some TA that we did, that Trip did, that shows that on the log scale, Cardano could actually hit $75. At least that is the measured move. And although it seems highly unrealistic, it is something to think about, right? Maybe in the next decade, as he says, or coming decades, I don't know, but it's there. I'm going to show you real quick just so you have this in mind, and this is what zooming out does to you. You can potentially fathom these exponential growth spurts that these chains will have because we're just in the beginning of the .com era right now.
This is the log scale for ADA. Actually, I'm going to start with the linear scale first, just so you can see the difference. Try to adjust it here to get a good view. All right, so we had basically this inverse head and shoulders. It's kind of on an angle. If you were to measure from the top down to the bottom and use that as your measured move and pull this up to the top, this is how far it goes. right? Even if you start over here on the right where the actual breakout was, it doesn't really do much difference. This is only at about 30 cents. So
Right.
now we're going to turn on the log scale and we're going to look at the same chart and we're going to measure the same way. So if you pulled from this high down to the bottom for the measured move, and then measured this up to the top, you can see we're remarkably closer. So you would have missed out on exponential gains if you were just using the linear scale chart. But if you turned on log scale, you would have caught, 80% of that move at least.
Right. So now that we have the log scale up, let's project the same thing we did for XRP for Cardano this cycle.
Okay, this one, again, you're starting into crazy numbers here.
Yeah.
And I start to doubt it. Well, I don't know how long you can keep doing this log scale thing for. Like when you're a smaller coin, you do bigger jumps. So as you get higher and higher in price, I don't know if those jumps are going to be the same. So we might have to use the same idea before as XLM and use the 1.618 as our next target as being the max target. So that's $75 ADA.
Wow. That's
I don't know if it's real. But yeah, this is just like repeating what we did before and what you would have missed out on. This could be another one of those scenarios.
It could be. And maybe there's some kind of diminishing return element as it gets bigger, as you said, but still it reflects the potential for exponential growth.
Definitely. Like people could even be calling these things, we'll go to a weekly chart. And, some traders would just call this a bull flag.
Right. Wow. Right? Yeah.
And
this is why I like your charts, because you're able to conceptualize and visualize things a little bit differently. And it's not crystal ball. It's not that this is what's going to happen. It just can give us an idea of what's possible and how to formulate short-term entries and sell points, mid-term, long-term, and potentially exponential. Right. So going back to this Jeff Bezos clip, I mean, he seems so unfazed and so just unshaken by all of the critics. And although Charles Hoskinson has notoriously been ruffled a few times, he stands his ground. He comes back to his center and he remembers and he talks about what is important: the maturation of the industry, growth of an industry, building a governance system that millions of people can participate in. This is the changing of a world order, truly. And now I'm going to get into the most important part of this episode, which is what just happened: the Cardano Constitution. This is incredible, guys. Let's check it out. So here it is, ADA News, Cardano Constitution, a one-of-a-kind multi-purpose codex of principles for the Cardano ecosystem. Its scaling, growth, and tech development is now one step closer to being ratified. So this was his grand vision, right? He believes that millions of people should be governed under one bureaucratic system, that we need a new system, an upgrade. And guess what? Now is the time to do it. Blockchain technology can facilitate this, and that is what they are building in the Cardano ecosystem. It's now a nation of the people, by the people. A historic moment for Cardano has been achieved. The Cardano Constitution has been signed moments ago. Very, very, very impactful thing here. Here's another piece of news. A groundbreaking moment. The first blockchain constitution has been drafted, voted, and signed naturally on Cardano. Charles Hoskinson's vision has always been different. Cardano is built different. Different is needed. Wow. He has a very different vision for the world. In a world where he notoriously says we go from don't be evil to can't be evil, to transparency, to trust, to freedom. After 3 days in Argentina, the Cardano Convention has a constitution proposal that can now go on-chain for voting. This was right before it happened. Delegates have debated, refined, and adjusted the proposals during these days. I mean, this is like he's building a whole new government. A governance system. I mean, he keeps talking about this. Let's listen to a clip in which he talks about how Cardano solves the governance issue.
But what we did is we just solved the upgradability problem in a decentralized way, which means that all the innovations from here on out, we as an ecosystem can do that together, which means we're always going to be speeding up. We're always going to be making great decisions, and we're always going to have the most advanced technology. Meanwhile, these other guys, they get burdened by the weight of their founder and their foundations and their constituencies. And eventually they stall because they can no longer make decisions because no one governing body can manage hundreds of millions of people. And the bureaucracy kills them. And thus they stop making good decisions. They slow down. They make perverse decisions that benefit certain actors in the ecosystem. On-chain governance solves all of that. And yet some reason we're the ones who are leading with that. And so, people ask you, like, why Cardano? That's why you say it's like, Because we're serious. That's why. We want to fucking change the world.
Wow, that one gets me every time. It's just so impactful. It's so fun to be an investor in something that could potentially, that is changing the future as we speak. It's changing the course of the world. Now then, let's go to the infamous speech that choked Charles Hoskinson up, brought him to tears. As you can see the passion that he has inside for this.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the end of the beginning. Feels good, doesn't it? There are a lot of flags up here. And my first thought when I saw all of them, I said, we need more. Thank you for representing your nations. It meant the world to all of them. And thank you for making this actually happen. It was a dream I had for a long time. It's been a long 10 years. It's been a hard 10 years. All of us have gone through so much. The eras of Cardano are coming to an end. There's no more Byron or Shelley or Gauguin or Basho or Voltaire. And I've spent the last 10 years of my life, every waking moment, asking, how do I get to the next era? How do I get to the next thing? It's an amazing moment to wake up and say, there's still more next era. You get to decide that. That's the magic of governance. That's the magic of why we're here, is for all of us to work together and decide on the future together. And it's going to be so much greater than what we did before. My roadmap's over. Your roadmap has begun. The Cardano community's roadmap has begun. You did one of the most important things you could have ever done for yourself. You gave yourself a life mission. You gave yourself agency. You gave yourself some modicum of control in a world that strips people of meaning and agency and control. There's so much cynicism in this world. There's so many people floating around telling you again and again what you do means nothing. Everything is nihilistic and meaningless. Accept what you can't change. And what we did here for a brief moment is we showed all of ourselves, and soon we're going to show the world that we don't have to accept that. We're not part of that anymore. If we don't like our money, we're going to make new money. If we don't like our political systems, we're going to make new political systems. If we don't like the way the world works, we're not going to complain about it. We're just going to change it. And guess what? This is how it's done. Not through force or coercion or lies or through bravado. It's by just bringing people together and having people talk to each other, respect each other, listen to each other. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win, sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you have wins that are awesome, sometimes not. But you bring them together. You put the flags up. Every one of these is equal. Every person had the same voice and the same vote. And in that collaborative environment, you can do anything. I don't know how I'll ever be able to top this. That's another reason why there's some tears. It's a bittersweet thing to be here. But it's the honor of my lifetime. And it's an amazing thing to pass the baton to all of you. Thank you.
Gosh, I got the chills watching this again, you guys, over and over and over. It's why I love this ecosystem so much. It just reminds you of why we're in this. Not only for financial freedom and for the gains, which I know we're all here for, but the impact on society. And I love how he says, we're not going to accept that. We're not going to accept things that are unacceptable anymore. If we don't like the money, we're going to make new money. If we don't like the way things are working or governed, we don't like the way government works, we're going to create a new system. We're not going to complain about it. We're going to do something about it. And that's why all of you are so special in this ecosystem, because you all have this ethos and mentality. That's why I love you. And that's why, this excites me so much. This is just such an amazing thing. And the most important message here, guys, never give up. Never give up. We are truly on the verge of a golden era, a golden age of innovation in which things will be more equitable, more fair, more transparent, and more free. And we're all on this journey together. I want to thank you again for being along for the ride with me here in this incredible movement, this incredible inflection point in the industry. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you tomorrow.